For years, counting cars wasn't just about vehicles, it was about passion, grit, and the larger-than-life crew who turned metal scraps into rolling works of art. At the center was Danny, the Count Coker, leading a team whose chemistry, humor, and drama made fans feel like part of the family. But behind the shine of those custom rides lies a story fans never forget, the cast members whose journeys ended far too soon. Counting Cars wasn't just a TV show, it became a cultural phenomenon. Fans tuned in week after week, dreaming of owning their own custom ride or even joining the high-octane crew at Count's Customs. But when the cameras finally stopped rolling, the story didn't end. Each member of the cast set off on their own path, some still building and restoring the classics they love, others carving out entirely new lives beyond the garage. And at the center of it all is the man who started the fire, Danny, the Count Coker. While the show may have wrapped, Danny never slowed down. Retirement was never in his vocabulary. His passion for cars burned long before television came calling, born from childhood memories of toy cruisers and late-night talks about Ford engines at the dinner table. Today, that same passion drives him harder than ever, proving that the Count is far from finished. What many fans never knew during Counting Cars' heyday was that Danny, the Count Coker's talent stretched far beyond cars and deals. Long before television fame, music had been his true first love. That passion came to life in Count 77, a hard-hitting rock band straight out of Las Vegas, built around Danny's obsession with the raw, electrifying sound of the 1970s. Formed over a decade ago, Count 77 became more than just a side project. It was Danny's creative heartbeat, an escape from the garage, and over the years it's grown into a force of its own. With his wife managing the band, their performances have only grown bolder and more energized since the cameras stopped rolling. But Danny Coker has never been a man to live off just one passion. His empire is a carefully built machine, cars, television, music, and business all fueling a fortune that now sits around $13 million. From the stage to the garage, Danny proves that the Count is more than a reality star, he's a businessman, a performer, and a relentless creator. As the leading figure in Counting Cars, Danny brings in approximately $1.6 million each year. He also leads the Count 77 band and owns various restaurants and tattoo parlors. This range of ventures has enabled him to navigate the conclusion of the show without missing a step, smoothly transitioning back into the versatile entrepreneur he has always been. The custom shop remains the vibrant core of Danny's empire. Unlike many reality show venues that turn into empty shells after filming wraps, this garage is still alive with energy. Classic cars continue to arrive for restoration, and custom choppers are crafted by skilled artisans, ensuring that the legacy of craftsmanship that made the show a hit endures. Danny's aspirations for the shop have always gone beyond the realm of television. Now, that vision can thrive free from the limitations of production timelines and scripted narratives. But what about the supporting cast that contributed to the show's charm? Their journeys illustrate the varied paths individuals take once their time in the limelight concludes. Each story reflects their unique passions and situations. Next up is Shannon Ika, whose experience embodies one of the most prevalent yet touching narratives in reality television. Shannon's passion for cars ignited in his youth, long before Danny Coker recognized his skills and welcomed him into the Count's Customs family in 2012. Audiences were captivated by his meticulous attention to detail. Whether he was revitalizing a classic muscle car or designing a custom motorcycle that seemed to radiate character, Shannon's craftsmanship truly shone during those unforgettable moments when a seemingly lost cause would be transformed under his expert touch. One particularly memorable episode featured a rust-riddled Camaro that arrived at the shop looking like it belonged in a junkyard. Where others saw headaches, Shannon saw potential. Week after week, fans watched him transform challenges into masterpieces, his passion shining through every precise weld and flawless panel. But then something changed. His once familiar presence on Counting Cars began to fade. The man who had been a cornerstone of the shop was suddenly appearing less and less, and viewers couldn't help but wonder, what happened? Rumors swirled, conflict, dissatisfaction, hidden drama. But the truth was far simpler. and far more human. Shannon hadn't stormed off or clashed with producers. He had simply outgrown the confines of television. After years of working under the bright lights and tight schedules of reality TV, he felt the pull towards something bigger, new challenges, new directions, new ways to test his craft. His departure wasn't a scandal. It was a choice. A natural evolution of a man refusing to stay boxed in, ready to push his skills and career to the next level. Shannon has maintained close ties to the car world that initially won his heart since quitting Counting Cars. He now frequently appears at car shows and charity functions throughout the area, where he works on unique projects that let him express his creativity in ways that television never allowed. His standing in the field has only increased as other artisans seek his advice on especially difficult restorations. His meticulous approach and steadfast attention to detail are frequently cited by young mechanics and aspiring restorers as sources of inspiration for their own work. Kevin Mack, whose enigmatic 2020 departure from the program left viewers with more questions than answers, comes in second. Beyond being Danny's right-hand man, Kevin was more. In addition, he was one of his best buddies. They had a natural partnership that is impossible to imitate for the cameras. Fans had a peek of a relationship based on trust, respect, and many adventures together as years of friendship off-screen continued into the program. Kevin frequently stayed behind the scenes to ensure that everything went smoothly when Counting Cars. Kevin provided the steady hand, managing the minutiae that enabled each endeavor, while Danny contributed the enthusiasm and charm. You could see how easily he and Danny became friends when he did show up, whether it was for test drives or car pickups. It was authentic, it wasn't staged. One of the show's greatest mysteries has been his exit. Despite being active on social media, Kevin hasn't discussed his reasons for leaving. The reasons given by fans range from personal concerns to a simple desire for greater privacy. In any event, his reserved demeanor makes sense. The spotlight was never Kevin's goal in the first place. Kevin's friendship with Danny is the most notable aspect of his story. Together, they drove for several hours in search of vintage vehicles and undiscovered gems. These were not merely business travels. The story revolved around two buddies pursuing their passions. Such a bond is uncommon, and each episode demonstrated it. Additionally, Kevin makes the decision to keep his private life private, particularly from his family. That decision sets him apart in the age of frequent internet updates. It demonstrates his preference for genuine relationships over media attention. Furthermore, his story is enhanced by the mystery surrounding his current activities, even though fans may always wonder. Ryan Evans will be the silent backbone of the Counts Customs operation as we continue our tour. Ryan's artistic abilities and technical prowess were frequently displayed during the run of the show, but his private life was kept mostly secret. Fans were drawn to the air of mystery that was produced by his purposeful isolation of his private life from his professional achievements. What viewers did discover about Ryan depicted a family man striking a balance between his personal obligations and his love of working on cars. The complicated realities of contemporary family life was demonstrated by his marriage to Dana Pauly and their blended family, which included her son Logan and Ryan's two children from a previous relationship. He showed maturity and effective time management by carefully balancing these relationships with his job, which benefited him both on and off camera. Despite purportedly reaching around $1 million, Ryan's financial performance demonstrated his worth to the Counts Customs operation. His proficiency in restoration and bespoke manufacturing made him an invaluable team player who could approach even the most difficult tasks with accuracy and originality. Their disparate positions in the corporate ladder were demonstrated by the difference between his projected value and Dai's $13 million fortune. Ryan's 1969 Cadillac Coupe was more than just a vehicle. It served as a moving advertisement for his skill and sense of style. Ryan maintained simplicity while Danny's enormous collection filled several garages. He demonstrated his preference for quality above quantity by concentrating on and perfecting a single car. His calmness, thoughtfulness, and preference for doing things correctly over doing too much were all evident in that one assignment. To stand out, he never had to be ostentatious. He was well liked by both the team and the supporters because of his quiet confidence and dependable skills. Even in tight situations at the shop, Ryan managed to solve complex challenges without losing his cool. Reliability like that helped keep the workers grounded and made everything go more smoothly. It contributed to the success of the show and to the fact that people still have such positive memories of him. Following this thread brings us to Joseph Frontier, whose tale serves as a reminder of the significance of trust and prudent financial management in the corporate world. At first, Joseph avoided the limelight by working as an accountant at Counts Customs, overseeing the financial aspect of the business while others took care of the technical and artistic tasks. When Joseph Frontier's name hit headlines in 2017, and not for a good cause, things became nasty. What began as a backstage position managing the business's finances became a major controversy. Joseph had access to the store's funds, which required integrity and confidence. However, it felt like a great betrayal to the team when it was revealed that he had spent $75,000 on personal items, such as plane trips and even a down payment for a Range Rover. There was more than one poor choice. There appeared to be a pattern. It appeared worse when more information became available. There was more to this than lost revenue. It rocked the team's sense of security and trust. He had been able to avoid attention for too long because of his low-key accounting position, which revealed some gaps in the company's financial controls. It was undoubtedly a difficult lesson for all parties. When the IRS intervened and hit the company with a $18,000 late tax levy, things became much more chaotic. It was a glaring example of how one person's errors may seriously harm a team as a whole. Danny took it seriously. He made it plain that trust is crucial, particularly in a close-knit group like Counts Customs, by letting Joseph go and pursuing legal action. To exacerbate the situation, the business also sued Randstad, the employment firm that assisted in hiring Joseph. The allegation that they withheld certain concerning details about his past. Beyond a single poor hire, it became a legal nightmare. Following all of the commotion, Joseph severed all connections with the team and disappeared from the public eye. As we continued our investigation, Scott Jones came to light as a person whose commitment to diligence and straightforward communication style occasionally caused conflict but always worked in the company's best interests. He frequently found himself in the position of speaking up for budgetary discipline when others wanted to pursue costly projects because of his employment managing accounts, which required him to strike a balance between financial realities and artistic goals. On-screen arguments with other crew members were occasionally caused by Scott's candor, but they typically resulted from his dedication to the company's financial stability. He was useful as a restraint on excessive spending and irrational project schedules since he was not afraid to voice unpleasant realities. These instances produced a palpable tension that reflected the difficulties in striking a balance between innovation and economics. Season 3's disclosure that Scott had made the decision to relocate to Tennessee after the birth of his kid shed light on his principles and priorities. His choice to put his family before professional prospects in Las Vegas demonstrated that he knew what was most important in life. Many viewers who had to choose between family obligations and career progress found resonance in this decision. Scott has demonstrated an extraordinary dedication to privacy since leaving. His lack of social media presence and public declarations of his current activities point to a person who prioritizes family ties and personal time over notoriety. His pragmatic disposition and commercial acumen are consistent with the speculations that he will launch his own store in Greenville, Tennessee. Fans were deeply impacted by Scott's hard ethic and financial savvy, and they valued his straightforward approach to business issues. When it came to safeguarding the financial stability that enabled the creative team to pursue their passion projects, he was not afraid to play the villain. Even though it wasn't always seamless television, this behind-the-scenes work was essential to the show's success. Let's turn our attention to Rolly Sabo, who became an instantly identifiable and adored character due to his distinctive Hungarian heritage and thick accent. He won over admirers who valued his honest approach to life and car detailing because of his humorous antics and his passion for his work, which produced some of the most memorable moments in the show. Rowley showed his dedication to the vehicle industry and entrepreneurial energy by choosing to keep providing detailing services in Las Vegas with Rock in Raleigh Custom Detailing. He had a successful business prior to the pandemic. He acquired trust with selective clients who wanted perfection by building on the reputation and talents he had developed while working for Counts Customs and by working on high-profile projects. Rolls' 2019 attendance at a training center in Quebec, Canada, demonstrated his dedication to advancing his career and keeping up with changes in the field. The same attention to detail that made him an asset to the Counts Customs staff was reflected in his commitment to professional development. Rowley had to deal with the same difficulties that many small company owners across faced when the pandemic struck. His adaptability and resilience were put to the test when he lost business and faced financial difficulties. He had to rethink how he served consumers because his business had been doing quite well prior to the crisis, so the abrupt drop was very challenging to handle. In spite of these demanding situations, Roy's optimism and determination shine through as he works to rebuild his commercial enterprise. His gratitude for the support of buddies and fans displays the personal connections he made in the course of his TV profession. Those relationships have come to be treasured assets as he adapts to converting market situations and explores new opportunities for increase. Wrapping up our journey, we cannot forget Sexy Mike. From the beginning, he stood out not just for his horns, but for his humor and large-than-life personality. Every time matters got aggravating within the garage, Mike knew how to crack a funny story or spin an innovative concept that instantly lifted the mood. He wasn't only an employee at the display. He became the comic comfort, the wild card, and the guy who saved matters amusing. What makes Mike even more special is how he carried that identical energy out of doors of the show. He connected with lovers via social media, giving them a height into his global lengthy after the cameras stopped rolling. Whether or not it was sharing updates, cracking jokes, or just showing off his quirky initiatives, Mike stayed in contact and stored the spirit of the display alive. Certainly one of his maximum memorable moments online turned into all through the COVID-19 pandemic while he positioned his very own spin on face masks, adding his trademark horns. It became traditional attractive Mike, sensible however playful and an ideal reminder that even in hard times, a little humor is going a protracted way. He has additionally been fantastic at preserving the Counting Motors legacy alive by posting throwbacks, fun tales, and motion pictures celebrating the show. Mike shows that he is as loyal to the fanatics as they may be to him. His pleasure about retaining human beings engaged proves how a lot he values the possibilities the display gave him. Even today, his motion pictures and posts preserve fanatics laughing and reminiscing, showing that his attraction hasn't dwindled. Attractive Mike located a manner to turn his persona into greater than simply TV leisure. It is grow to be his emblem. And with fans nonetheless following along, it's clean he's no longer slowing down every time quickly. Looking lower back on the Counting Vehicles group, it is clean that their testimonies did not end when the cameras stopped rolling. Each solid member carved out their own course. And along the way, we are able to spot some common threads, like staying actual to real friendships, locating new methods to apply their competencies, and studying how to balance fame with everyday existence. Reality TV reputation doesn't closing forever. However, what Counting Automobiles gave those parents become plenty greater treasure than simply display time. They walked away with studies, talents, and connections that also bring weight these days. For a few, that intended building on their automotive ardor and taking it into new ventures. For others, it turned into approximately entering into sparkling opportunities, whether or not in business, enjoyment, or sincerely personal increase. What do you leave out approximately the display?